This is Guys Next Door. Hi guys, welcome back to Guys Next Door. It's still your girl Archie, and with me, I have the most amazing, the most beautiful, the most phenomenal. Is it phenomenal? Phenomenal? Shall go and check your dictionary. I not do English in school. The most elegant queen of the runway, Miss Gabrielle Oghechi. But anyways, I can't do the honors of introducing her because the kind of crown she wears, not everybody can carry that crown. So she will do the honors herself. Hello, Miss.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm Gabrielle Oghechi Adibo. I'm a transformational coach and a public speaker.
Calm down first. Did you hear that? Have you ever heard that kind of profession before? Transformational coach. How many things can you transform? We have a coach here. If you want to transform, come and register.
Oh my goodness.
Continue.
Yes, I'm a transformational coach and a public speaker. I'm also an author and a leadership consultant. What else? Oh, yes, and I'm a student.
And a model.
And a model.
She will not say that one. And a cook.
I'm a chef.
What's the name of this thing again?
It's called Gabby Street.
Gabby Street.
Yes, I think that's basically it.
Yeah. So, Miss Gabrielle, first of all, people don't know this lady here. I've known you for how long?
I think about 4 years now.
I did not knew she was a coach. I had no ideas that Auntie here is a transformational coach. She transformed life. But I have testimony. As I met Auntie, I'm such a joker.
Honestly,
Anyways,
girl.
I know. Okay. I can actually attest to the fact that for the years I've known you, the years I've known each other, I've actually grown. You're a coach not by mistake. There are things that naturally I wouldn't put into consideration, but then I think our friendship has had me groomed in a way, and I'm so grateful for that. But anyways, before I enter the discussion of today, I want to ask a question. What was your culture shock when you came to Kenya?
My
the
culture
first time?
shock?
Yes.
My culture shock
Yes.
is Kenya.
In Kenya.
Okay, when I first arrived, I noticed how people are not in a hurry here.
It's like there's no sense of urgency.
Yeah, they're just calm. From the airport, I'm coming from Lagos, Murtala Mohammed Airport, and you know how it is.
It's a hustle.
It's crazy. So I'm now landing here thinking, oh, okay, this is Kenya. I've never been to Kenya. And, so I'm expecting...
It's probably the same thing.
Probably the same thing, or maybe, probably worse. And then everyone's just doing things at their own pace. Slowly, they are so carefree. And it's shocking, but it's admirable because you're just used to, everybody, let's get this done. Let's rush. Let's rush. Everybody's, let me not stereotype, but people
You're always... You're always on the edge.
Yes, on the edge, maybe because of the weather is always hot. But the weather is cool here. Everybody's just calm, doing their own thing. So that was the number one from the airport. I said, okay, all right. And then with time, you start interacting with people. Another thing that shocked me is the fact that people call you by your name.
Yes.
They rarely add titles like uncle, auntie,
no.
That kind of stuff. They call you by your own name. You understand? I was like, that person is old enough to be your
mother. You're calling her by her name.
Call her by her name. You got chop beating.
I think for me that was a shock for me as well, because I'm used to calling Auntie Debbie, for example, or Auntie Gloria or Auntie Gabrielle. But here, when people hold on to my grandmother, I hear people call them by their names. I'm like, yo. Cannot be Nigeria though. You collect spiritual knock. They will slap you with a rapper. You never know where the slap is coming from. But that's really, really interesting. So it's good that you made mention of the fact that they are very orderly, which for me, I'd give it to them. Even though right now I don't even know the state of the airports now because of the taxing and everything. So let's just hope for the best. Kenya is an amazing country.
Ooh, very
it's
amazing.
Beautiful.
Oh my god.
And yeah, so moving on to the topic of today. We're gonna be discussing Miss Gabrielle here. And I want you to tell us a little about what you do, but then tell us more about your transformation.
My own personal transformation.
School, yeah.
Oh, the transformational school.
Yes.
Okay. First things first. I have this huge passion for people doing more than they see they can do, because I go by the mindset that who you are is not all you can be. And that's one thing that drives me towards pushing people to be more. So I say, okay, yes, maybe I've achieved this, but that's not all I can be. Maybe this is what you've achieved. That's not all you can be. There is still more, right? And that has helped me like have a clearer picture of what my purpose here on earth is. I've realized that anytime someone comes to me for advice, there's this kind of purpose clarity. Yeah. All of a sudden there's purpose clarity, and all that. So I said, God, okay, now I've discovered this. How do I put this into, action? How do I make this something that can help other people more than it can help me? How can I help other people? You understand? So yes, it just started that way, and I was led to start a transformational school. It's called the Gabrielle Global Transformational School. And
sorry, did you hear that? Gabrielle Global Transformational School, GGTS.
Yes, GGTS. Actually, I go by the stage name Gabrielle Global. Yes, so Gabrielle Global.
So what was your inspiration? What was your motive? Not motive, by the way. What was your inspiration? What was the name inspired by?
Okay. First of all, I used to be so shy. I used to be a very shy person. Like, you would never see me in the spotlight. Then with time, I just say life happened. And of course, I met Christ and I became a whole different person. I just started having this urge, yes, to change the world. I just noticed some things about the youth and I'm like, I've experienced this liberty, so why can't other people experience it, right? Yeah. And then, I was like, okay, I want this to go to the ends of the earth. However God's gonna take it, let him do it. But this has to get to the ends of the earth. You understand that there are people out there who deserve to know that there is more to their life than they can see.
Yeah.
So I count it as a privilege that God is using me to, help people see that, their emergence is here. I like to use the word emergence because that's also my coaching company, Emerge Coaching Company. And I like to inspire people. Your emergence is here. It's just like this close. It's just this close.
Get into.
You just need that little breakthrough and, you find yourself flying.
Interesting. Yeah. And I know it's not easy being a coach, especially in this generation where everybody has their free will.
Yeah.
Quote, and everybody thinks like they have life covered and they just want to place the guessing. They just want to play the guessing games. English. They just want to play the guessing games. With life, like, let's guess. So what have been your challenges, especially when you decided to start this transformational school?
First things first, my age. My age. Like, people were, I just say the older people in my life were like, you're too young to start something like this. And I was I think I was like 18.
Oh, wow.
I was 18 when I really even started, when I started, when I kickstarted the whole thing, I started putting myself out there. So I was like 18. Of course, I understand their concerns, but that was my biggest challenge, because when the people that are kind of ahead of you do not even believe in what you carry, it makes you begin to doubt yourself. True. And then, second of all, people your age are not doing the same thing. You get, like, people my age are not doing the same thing. They are probably like thinking about boyfriends.
So there's this stereotype that people of a certain age, which honestly it's not only an African thing, it's a global crisis, where people believe that because you're younger, you should do what your mates are doing.
Yeah.
Now people tend to forget that what is always right is not always popular.
Yes.
And what's always popular is
not always right. Exactly.
So you start doing this at 18. This is really interesting. And I can totally relate, especially with the age. If you have someone who's like 30, 40, they wouldn't want to sit under a younger person because they have this belief that I'm older than you, so I have more experience. But it's not always true, right?
It's not.
Just because you're older does not mean you know
everything.
Exactly.
And that the younger people don't have something new to offer. Of course, I acknowledge the fact that if you're older, of course, you have more experience. There's wisdom. There's something that the elders see, from the top of the tree that us we cannot see.
You get, we sit down.
Even though, that proverb. So I acknowledge that. But then at the same time, it's also better to allow them, I want to make their mistakes, explore what they feel, because there's one thing that you can't take away from somebody: their true feeling of purpose. Once there's that awakening in someone that this is what I want to do, instead of dimming their light, you have to find ways to encourage them, to help them. Maybe they may not have it. Sometimes we as younger people, we may not know
what it is.
Yes, we are just driven, right? So now, as the older one, I feel it's your responsibility to now be the guide. You understand? To just be the guide and help instead of discouraging them. That was my biggest challenge. Like the age. Like, what do you know? Like, what do you know? What do you know you're teaching there?
Yeah.
What do you know you're teaching there? What do you know? Which experience do you have in life? And yeah, it just had me second guessing. But then I just say it's all God, because that resilience, I have no idea where it came from. Like doing things despite what everybody was saying. And yeah.
That's really interesting. So now we've spoken about the challenges. So what have been your successes, or would I say your highlights of this journey?
Well, like they always say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. And to be real with you, it takes quite a number of steps to get to that point of having even a slight highlight.
Yeah.
Truly, I was 18. Well, this might actually give you guys a clue of my age, but I started in 2019. And my highlight, like my successes, I started seeing evident successes last year, 2022.
Oh, that's nice.
And this was when I decided to take a bigger step into creating my personal brand. So I created Gabrielle Global. I created a personal brand. I created Emerge Coaching Company. It's a coaching, organization. It's still at work, actually. Then I started the Surging Woman, a community of women, for women who are trying to get to understand their identity in Christ and all that. Then I started the Gabrielle Global Transformation School, and what else? I think it's those 4. And I was scared.
I can imagine.
I was scared putting all that out there. Like, okay, Oghechi, I've been talking. It's been more of talking, those few years, just talking, advising people. But
then you decided to put it into practice.
Now put it into practice, put it out there. It was a bold step. But then when I started seeing how every other thing that I had dreamt about or God had revealed to me, they began to just fall in place. They just began to find their way, positioning themselves. It was a major highlight.
To fall into pleasant places for you.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now this is more clear. Because you can imagine you're just trusting God. You're just obeying what He's saying. You're not seeing everything. You're just taking those gradual steps. No instant evidence. No instant results. You're just there. And then all of a sudden God just says, it is time. do this, do that, you do it, and then things begin to just fall in place. So that has been my major highlight in this journey. Like just finally putting myself out there, despite the insecurities, despite the fears, despite, oh gosh, it's been actually coming to think about it. I'm like, well, it's been actually a year plus now, and I've grown. I've grown. I look at old videos and stuff. I'm like, what? I couldn't even hold a mic before. Like, I'd shake and have panic attacks. But now, give me a mic and I'm like the most loud person in the room, So I just look at it and I'm like, oh, those have been my highlights, the growth, the evident growth. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because you hardly see people open about their struggles and open about their highlights. Some people would literally make up stories, but I've actually seen you grow over the years, and honestly, I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Now, before we round up, there's a tea that's been cooking. Tell us about your book.
My book. Okay, so actually, I have quite a number of books
that have been published.
Well, not.
I'm talking about the published one.
Published one.
She's an award-winning writer and an award-winning public speaker. She did not make mention of that.
Oh, yes,
so
I'm
an award-winning public speaker. So I just want you to give us a tip of the iceberg about your book.
Okay, so the first book I wrote and I've published.
And how much can we get it as well?
Okay, you can get it at 500 Kenya shillings. It's an affirmation book, and it's a book that I wrote from the depths of my heart. I struggled so much with identity. I really struggled with identity. And I believe it's something that people, like young people, youth, especially, let's say from teenagers, from 15, there's that identity.
Actually, from 13.
Yeah, 13. Actually, younger, like quite young kids, you get to have conversations with them, and then you realize that they really don't know who they are, what they are doing.
Yeah.
They're just confused. So I felt like, okay, God has given me that grace to discover who I am. So this was not like my love letter. Will I say my love gift back to the world, to this is who you are, this is who God says you are. And in the book I have relatable, like there are moments of relatability, if that's a word, where I'm like, there are moments when you feel like this, there are moments when things happen, I was bringing in personal experiences and then also redirecting them back to what God has said concerning, the whole matter. So if you're in doubt of your true identity, of course, I've been in that position. I've questioned myself. I've cried. I've beat myself down.
Haven't we all?
I mean, so you're not alone. There's that reassurance that this is humane. It's normal. It's a part of the human process, right? Yeah. But then this is what God has said that comforts us. Like, this is what the scripture says, and then I end up with the affirmation that this is who you are and you should affirm it by inserting your name. So if I say at the end of the book, let's say we're talking about boldness, you say, I, Gabrielle, am bold. I'm built for whatever the task is. I'm the woman for the job. I'm the man for the job. There's that affirmation now, after the whole teaching and everything. Yes, in fact, let me be honest with you. I read that book every month. Every month.
A writer who reads her own book.
It even speaks to me back, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I'm like, what? Sometimes I even relate with the book and
directly.
I'm like, okay, quite a number of people have bought it. I've gotten like really
good feedback.
Yes, and testimonies, and it's encouraged me. Now I have a series. Actually, I have a book series coming up. It's I think from age 5. Age 4? I've forgotten the age bracket, but
anyway, hold your peace. Go and buy this book. What's it called?
I Am.
The name of the book is I Am. It's really, really amazing. Funny enough, I had read, when you were writing and you were posting, I wrote down those things and I hung them on my mirror for a period of time. And actually, you're talented. You're gifted.
Oh God.
So, we have started with you being a life coach, transformation coach, and all the crowns you wear, because you don't wear hats, you wear crowns. So let me ask you, I want you to give us an in-depth experience of your transformation journey with people, and also what is your most discussed issue, especially when it comes to your life coaching? Is it class or
Discussed
sessions? Yes, because there has to be that one. I believe there's that one most talked about issue. So what is it? I want you to speak to the audience, because I know we have so many people have that question burning. So please tell us what your most discussed session is and how it's like being a life coach.
Okay, first of all, it's the most prevalent topic. I've noticed that people come to me to talk about or seek insight about is the topic of purpose. Who am I? Who was I created to be? You know, what more can I be? You say that I can be this. How can I become that? And I've realized that all points down towards that I teach more on the topic of personal transformation. And then under personal transformation, I talk about personal development on one side, personal growth, and then personal improvement. Okay? So I differentiate the three concepts because there are three different concepts according to my knowledge and understanding. That personal development is usually that stage where you don't really see results. I use the example of a gym, going to the gym, right? You go to the gym, like say the first 2 weeks, you don't see instant results, but something's happening. You understand? There's something going on in your muscles, your body. Things are changing, you know, but you're not seeing instant results. So development is going on, right? So you begin to see the growth. That's the evidence that indeed something has been going on in the background. Then you see improvement. We now talk about personal improvement, where you're like, okay, now this is what I've seen. This is the evidence. This is the result I've gotten from my consistency in the gym. What next can I do? How can I take it up a notch? You know, what else? Should I include more equipment and things of that sort? Now, that's the analogy I want to use to explain. But I realized that those are the questions, all the questions that the youth have, that they direct to me, of course, fall in line in one of these, one way of, you know, one of these topics, or, you know. So if it's personal growth or development, they're like, how do I build consistency? How do I become more committed? Now that's a development issue. You know, that's the habit. That's where you develop habits, because it's only developed habits that lead to, you know,
addictions.
Yes, and all that, and not even just addictions, but like things that become a part of who you are.
So can we say those things lead to the cycle?
Yes.
The trend of cycle.
In your life, positive or negative. So whatever you consistently keep repeating, you know, if, you know, commitment can be bad and good, you know. If you commit to something that's hurting you, you're going to build consistency in it. It's going to be a part of you, and you're going to grow there. It's going to be a negative aspect of your personal
until
growth.
it becomes your natural habitat.
Yes, and it's going to be hard to get out of it. You understand? That's where you now talk about, we now go a little bit into psychology and all that. You understand? Therapy and ways of getting you out of those, you know, vicious cycles that are holding you down from now getting to the point of personal transformation. Because transformation at the end of the day is now these three concepts. You've grown, you're developing, you're growing, you're improving, and then now we can look at you and say, oh, there was a transformation. You were a whole different person, but when
now
you talk, everything,
person.
now you're a different person. Okay. So yes, that's, you know, what's most of, you know, what's
That's
it talked
really
about.
interesting.
Yeah,
I'm done. I don't have any questions. I've enjoyed my session.
Yeah, it's almost 30 minutes, and then it's going to stop in 30 minutes.
So I just do the outro.
Yeah, hold on. Once it's 30 minutes, I stop, then
Actually, that's really good.
This place is hot.
She's a psychologist, by the way.
Psychologist again.
Normal psychologist and then industrial psychologist. Industrial psychologists are people who work in the workplace. Like they deal with organizations. No, actually, organizations. So we deal with business, the business aspect of psychology.
So that my boss is making me run mad. Actually, it's really, really amazing to have you start setting the pace, because the Gen Zs, I don't think we're all cut out for this, but you took it upon yourself to create a platform, because I believe there are a lot of Gen Zs and a lot of millennials as well that have issues with finding purpose and, stuff like that. So I'm really grateful for you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Gabrielle.
Thank you.
And before we close the show, darling, I want you to say something to the audience. Just encourage them, even if it has to do with registering for school and like people who are dealing with the loss of purpose, because I know it's a global crisis. Just say a word of encouragement to someone out there who is really battling in finding their purpose.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, it's an honor. I'd like to start with a question. It's a question that I have been asking now quite a number of times. The question is, where do you allow yourself see yourself? Where do you permit yourself to see yourself? Because I believe that each and every one of us, before we go to bed, we have that short time when we think about who we want to be, where we see ourselves. But then we tell ourselves, we can never get there. We can't get there because of the limits, probably the challenges, probably your background, your environment, whatever the challenge may be. Some may be controllable, some may be uncontrollable, but I'm very, very sure that, one way or another, sometimes we always experience opposition, right? But despite that, I want to ask you this question again. Where do you allow yourself see yourself? Where do you permit yourself to see yourself? Where do you allow, your mind think you can go? Because I believe that if you can dream it, if you can think about it, you can become it.
Yeah.
If you can dream it, you can become it. And you can only become it when you believe it. And you can only believe it if you are convinced yourself and you permit yourself to think far. Okay? One of my major contributions, I can say that's my contribution to the world, is trying to help you expand your mind, okay? I want you to expand your mind to the limitless.
Come out of the box.
Yeah, come out of there. Expand your mind. There are limitless possibilities out there and there are limitless potentials within you, okay? So there is that room for growth. There's that room for becoming. Okay, I want you to step out of your bubble. Whatever it is that you have limited yourself to, I want you to step out of it. It's not going to be easy, of course. Nobody said it's going to be easy. But you owe yourself that push, that extra pull to become that person you want to become. I know there's something that God has put in your heart. There are things that He wants you to do, but you're scared. You feel you're not up to it. I'm telling you now, if you are looking for a sign, this is now the sign. You are cut out for it. There is more you can be. Okay? So don't settle for less. Okay? Don't settle for less. There is more you can be. And I'm encouraging you to just stretch your mind, stretch yourself. There are possibilities out there. And I assure you, your transformation and your emergence is here. It's here. Okay? Yes, that's about it.
Thank you so much, Miss Gabrielle.
You're welcome.
And with that, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Guys Next Door. And please make sure you send us an email for partnerships and sponsorships. And also, if you'd like to be on the show, send us an email to clearskyentertainmentworld@gmail.com. Follow us on our social media platforms. On Instagram, it's clearsky_ent. On TikTok, it is Kleska Entertainment. Do make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment as well. And before the show ends, as you're watching it, I'm going to put her, you can just send her a DM on her, what's it called?
Instagram.
On her social media platforms. Send her a Gmail on her Gmail account. Her Instagram is here as well. Her personal Instagram, and then her Transformational School is here as well. I'll also put a link for those of you who would like to buy the I Am book. Kindly click on the link and show us some love. Also share this podcast to someone who you know would need this podcast, and let us know what you think. If you also want to be on the show, kindly send me a DM on my Instagram page. It is I am Rejoice Decker. Actually, it's I am _ Rejoice Decker on Instagram. On TikTok, it is Redecker. Come, let's make magic. Let's make love together on this podcast. Not make love in the way you think. I mean, don't be like that. But anyway, before you go, you see these videos up here, go and watch it. If you don't watch it, I'll appear to you in your dreams. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye.